We just came back from the trip of a lifetime with our entire family, bringing along our 3 little boys. So today I'm taking you along. We're going to see some of Spain's most beautiful and iconic sites in both Barcelona and Madrid. And then I'm going to share some of the time that we spent with our family and just how beautiful it was. I'm going to take you along to Dali's gorgeous home. I hope that you get so much inspiration as I did from his home.
The most picturesque Mediterranean Sea.
We even did a little bit of shopping, and I'll bring you along for a haul as well.
Hello y'all, I'm putting together this travel vlog from Spain and decided that it needed a proper intro. So we just got back from the most amazing, delicious, gorgeous trip to Spain. I mean, it just had everything that we wanted to do. We were able to do the famous sites, see all of the little towns as well, try all the delicious foods, even went to a flea market, like vintage flea market, and stayed in a 303-year-old villa. So I'm gonna divide our trip up into 2 parts, just go in sequential order. We'll see how much we can get through in this video today. And then I'll tell you at the end of today's video what we'll do for next week's video, because otherwise you guys would be here for like an hour and a half. And I will also have a haul at the end of today's video sharing some of the things that I brought home from the first half of our trip. So I think it's gonna be amazing. I hope that you all learn something about Spain and just get inspired. I always feel so inspired on vacation, and so I hope that you can get that as well through the camera. Let's go ahead and get adventuring.
If you are new around here, I'm typically sharing home projects and homemaking and frugal living, thrifting and DIY projects, and just hanging out with my 3 little boys around the house. So this is a quite different video than normal on the channel, but my grandparents on my mom's side made this trip possible. They brought all of us on the side of the family over and found the villa, and so that's why we were able to do this. So we first made a stop at this wonderful bakery. We actually stayed in Madrid for 2 nights with my dad's brother, and he was actually able to accompany us to the villa as well and hang out with us there. But he was the best tour guide, bringing us around Madrid, and he's just so proud of his city, so he knew exactly where to go, all the cool spots to hit up. And so it was really fun walking around and just stretching our legs after we got off the plane. This is the largest flag in Spain. And then this restaurant was so cool. It looked like a ship inside, and we had just the most decadent food. It was so much food. He just kept ordering more and more things. It was delicious, but absolutely amazing. And we tried like the octopus and all of the paella and the things that are very traditional to Spain. So it was so fun to start our trip like that.
And every street is pretty. There isn't like a historic district. It's
All right, now this was quite the adventure. Not just did we see this gorgeous Church of the Holy Cross, but we also climbed their tower and was able to have a view of the city. And I realized just how fear of heights, how much fear of heights I have. And so, yeah, I didn't get much footage up at the top. This was actually the middle level. We kind of went up a little bit, took a break, rested a little bit, and then went up even more. And so this was the treacherous climb up these kind of very open wood stairs. And then this was the very top, and my kids were not scared at all of heights, so they were having a great time like poking their heads out. I was just like, oh my gosh, squatting on the floor. But after that we survived, and it was beautiful, and we went and just got a light dinner in this little square. They had a flower market and just the most beautiful old, all of the restaurants, all of the buildings are historic, it seems like, and it was just gorgeous.
Those cherries look so good.
Small plums.
We went to this very cool 100-year-old market. Everything looked delicious, but the main reason that we came here was actually because of their tortilla de patata. It is famous. I mean, at least in my family, everyone that comes and visits, my uncle comes and has this tortilla de patata, and it's much more soft. If you've had it before, sometimes it can be like all solid and hard, but this one was amazing. Next up, we went to the Geology and Mineral Museum. Really, this museum was amazing for the architecture and what it actually had, which was so many rocks, like every single type of rock and fossil that you could imagine. I mean, you see all of those layers, the levels that it goes up, and just the building itself was gorgeous to just be in and so inspiring. So the kids enjoyed scavenging around, finding all the different colors that they could, and I loved seeing the meteorites that we saw. That was just something I don't think I've ever seen before, as well as just all the different colors, and it just reminded me of how much beauty there is in this world that God has created, and it's all around us. And how easy it is for us to forget, but on vacations like this, you're really just immersed in all of the culture and all of just being attuned to finding those beautiful moments. And that's something I want to bring back into my day-to-day life, as cheesy as that sounds, but just finding beauty in the mundane parts of my life. That was the meteorite right there. It was really cool if you caught it. And then they also had just all of these colors. What we did is used I think it was just like Gemini AI, and we would scan the cards there and it would read it for us in English for the kids to see that. And so that was helpful. This was a really cool mineral as well. It like grows in these squares, like that's a natural formation, which was really weird. Where's the dinosaurs? This was our museum day. So after the Geology and Mineral Museum, we were going to go to another art museum, but we took a break first at this really wonderful plaza where they had a restaurant, lunch, as well as lots of green space and a playground for the kids to run around in. I had the most delicious cheesecake I've ever had. I've decided that Spanish cheesecake is just the way to go. So it looks like that. It's much more fluffy in a way, I would say. So this was the Prado Art Museum. I didn't get any pictures inside, y'all, but I will show you some postcards that I got. And the kids got some popsicles, so that was fun, a good little treat for them, because we walked around the Prado for 2 hours and they were able to do it. I was proud of them. I'm proud of all of us. We were all pretty tired by this point. To get back to Craig's apartment before we went to dinner, we walked through the Retiro Park, which is gorgeous, huge. It's like the Central Park of Madrid.
So if I'm doing that, I will do like a little flight.
It's Emily from the future here. It is hot here in Florida, but it was like even hotter in Europe. So something that we brought along with us and I think kept us going and just feeling our best was Ultima Replenisher. So we all know that we need to be hydrated, but I know that I often forget that we also need electrolytes to help maintain the balance of the fluids in our body. I have been loving the orange and lemon one. Well, those are two different flavors. I'm gonna do the lemonade one today, and I like mixing it into nice ice cold water. So refreshing. The problem with a lot of electrolyte powders is that they are packed with sugar and packed with salt. So they taste bad and they're not exactly good for us. But the amazing thing about Ultima Replenisher is that it is 0 carb, 0 sugar, and it is sweetened with organic stevia. Their flavors are also really good. These are safe for kids, so my kids love these, and we pretty much have to share with them if we make one of these. Yeah, I think lemonade is honestly my favorite, but the orange is a second, a close second. So good. No weird aftertaste, just good. The average American is getting plenty of salt in their diet naturally, so we don't need to be drinking our sodium like a lot of electrolyte powders do. But we do need the other 6 key minerals so that our body can conduct electrical charge through water. It's super important that we maintain a good balance of these minerals for our body to work properly. Some electrolyte powders can have up to 1,000 milligrams of sodium, which is just way too much. Ultima has just 55 milligrams of sodium, as well as having calcium, potassium, magnesium, and chloride, which are super important for conducting electrical charges in our body. So I will leave the link for Ultima Replenisher down in the description below if you want to take a sip yourself. I highly recommend it.
This was the Andalusian restaurant that we went to. It was lovely. The food was amazing, of course. I loved the tile work that they had in here. And that wraps up our time in Madrid, because next we took a train and went all the way over into Catalonia and stayed close to Barcelona. This is where we stayed with my mom's side of the family. The kids took a nap. Some of them, I wish more of them had taken a nap. All of my kids get a bit motion sick, so we were dealing with that throughout the whole trip, just to be real. But I won't share that here, obviously, too much in detail, but just keeping it real. So this was us driving into our rental property, the villa. I will give you a tour, guys. It was absolutely gorgeous, but what we started with first, of course, reconnecting with family, and then I actually hired a professional photographer, something I've never done before, to come and take photos of our whole family while we were all together on this night, because my grandparents set up a caterer to come and serve us all dinners. We were all together. We all wore coordinating outfits. I told everyone to wear neutrals and navy blue, and it worked out so beautifully. I absolutely love the photos that she got, and the meal that we had was delicious and was just beautiful. They set us up under this tree out in the courtyard on the property, and it was just magical, like pinch me moment. We were able to grab a quick cafe con leche before starting our next adventure, which was exploring Dali's home. He was in this home for 40 years with his wife, and once his wife passed, he never returned to this home. He left and he never returned. He just loved his wife so much and was heartbroken, and so everything that you see here was left as is. This was his studio. He had this easel set up so that it could go down into the unit underneath, and so that he would be able to sit and paint, which we thought was so amazing. Those were all of his art supplies down in that basement area. And what this house was actually 3 units, fisherman houses, that he combined into one, and he did such a beautiful job. I mean, just the home of an artist is something special, because there's this mix of beautiful colors as well as just objects being used as art. I really was inspired by how many just unique treasures that he had, and he would display them on the walls. And then it was just beautiful architecture as well, of course, and beautiful art, but he also just had lots of beautiful knickknacks kind of artfully displayed.
That's mirror to the left. He put this mirror in a special position to see the sunrises from his bed. This is the bedroom, that part of the house.
So you could look down from the bed in the mirror and see the sunrise.
He said he was the first person in Spain to see the sun. Como estamos en el punto más al este.
So we're in the most eastern point of Spain, so he's always said he was the first person to see the sunrise in Spain. Y este es su mujer.
Front of the mirror to see the sun.
Okay. So they have two different beds.
Yes.
This is always standard
When
white line up
then
here.
he left and went to another city and didn't come back.
The echo.
Yep, stand in the middle. Stand in the middle.
Right here.
Yeah, say echo.
Right here.
That's good, right there. Echo.
Echo.
If I remember correctly, he designed this room as a conversation pit for his wife and her friends, and it had really strange acoustics just because of the shape of it, so our voices sounded super weird. It didn't really translate very well on camera, but I don't know how it would be having a conversation in here because your voices would sound so strange. This was their closet and dressing room, and they had created like a collage on the walls. Looked like wallpaper pretty much because it was everywhere, of magazine clippings of Dali, as well as like pictures with famous people. And then what they had outside was the most gorgeous gardens and courtyards and swimming pool. So this was a treat to just walk around. This was not part of the guided tour, so we were able to just take our time walking through here.
What a little goofy guy.
With a real ride on my
Is it comfortable? I think it was like so that people could serve in the middle. Maybe, or it's just
I mean, I was thinking that people would sit all the way around, but
you can't sit over there, yeah. That's interesting.
yeah.
Right
I think artists do that. They're like, the shape needs to be
now. Interesting.
beautiful. And usually
Dad. What? Dad.
The rhino? So fancy. Thanks, buddy.
oh, that'd be super cool.
His backyard was full of these really old olive trees and overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, which I will take you guys to. We're going to that next. It was so magical, and it was the kids' favorite part of our trip.
Yeah, can you imagine? Just tucked. Like the most picturesque Mediterranean Sea.
Oye, ¿qué sol hace?
Downtown. Yeah. I agree.
Those are cool towers, Benji. Did you help?
Hear my breath through this lullaby. Barefoot, wandering since last July. Bittersweet, baby, come set me free.
the kids for walking around so much with some ice cream. And then we hit up a few of the little shops. It actually rained and we had to take shelter inside a restaurant for a while, and then we were able to check out some of the little adorable shops. I did bring home some treasures from this little store, so I will show you a little haul what I brought home at the end of today's video.
Do you want
I like this one, or the red ones.
or do you want the pink?
I like those, I do. I think I like the red the best, because it reminds me of this area. Bracelets. Do you want those back, please? I kind of like the red.
'Cause you're the one, my friend, my Wilson. So as I chase what's gone way true, way true.
So cute.
We went into this lovely little shop that had just opened, and a few years ago they put into this store this floor that was pretty spectacular. They had some amazing handmade goods. Our favorite was these hand crocheted bags that were quite expensive though, but they were so beautiful and they were really thick. My uncle actually got one for himself and it was so cool. So the next day we went into the city, and if you have heard about Barcelona before, you've probably heard about the Basilica of Sagrada Familia, and this is a church that's been under construction for, I believe it was over 100 years. And what's really cool about this church is that it kind of has this melting look on the outside because he turned the church inside out. So typically the church outside would look similar to this in the inside, just beautiful and focus on nature, and then the inside of it would tell the Gospels. And so what this was all done by Gaudi, the artist, by the way. And so what he did though is that he flipped it and had the Gospels on the outside, and the inside was just architectural wonder. And this was pretty amazing that he was able to come up with these designs and begin all of this processing and creation here of the church over 100 years ago. He fought to get all of his designs into this church because he wanted it to be spectacular. He wanted it to be what it is, and it truly was. So if you go to Barcelona, make sure you definitely check out Gaudi's church, Sagrada Familia. We also went to the park that he designed. This was so fascinating. So what I didn't know about this park, you're about to see the iconic wall that everyone takes a picture in front of. But what I didn't know is that this was actually meant to be a community that people lived in. I think the plan was to have 150 lots, like a suburb pretty much, and people couldn't wrap their minds around it at the time though. This was supposed to be like a square for people to converse in. They have this wall that's wavy, which allows you to have little conversations. And so if you've seen any pictures in Barcelona, you've always seen this like mosaic wall. I didn't get great pictures of it because there's so many people there. You can kind of see those curves and how that would create kind of like little conversation nooks. And underneath that is actually where he had planned and designed for this to be their like farmers market. And so this was a really beautiful, it was supposed to look like trees, and they had mosaic just to remind you of nature everywhere, to keep the harsh lines out was his plans, and keep like stones. You see stones and mosaics. There's no like even harsh lines. Everything is natural and organic, which is a very unique style to Gaudi, so it was fascinating to go there. But that was actually the only two things that we did in Barcelona. There's a lot of like tourism stuff going on there with people like using water guns right now on tourists, so we didn't want to spend too much time there with our kids and everything. So we went out back into the country next to our villa and found this amazing restaurant, walking distance from the villa that we stayed at. My grandparents found it, and we had our own little private room here. The service was amazing. Our waiter was actually also one of the cooks. I think there was only like one other cook. He was also a player on the Barcelona rugby team. So this was a very traditional appetizer of having cheese, I forgot the name of it, as well as tomatoes. It was just so fresh. And then this was Catalonian chicken, which was so delicious. I ate the whole thing.
All right, guys, I've got a little haul of some items that I brought home. We'll start with this one. This was definitely the hardest one to pack in my bag, but I got this basket purse. It has leather handles that are nice and long, so it's like super comfy to carry around, and it zips up, which is really nice. These were like all the rage. Everyone had these, it seemed like, in that little town that we went to, Cadaques. And I bought like a little tassel as well at the store that we went to that was just like red. I thought it was just fun like pop. I wanted a little pop of red. I was looking for like red jewelry or something to add to my outfits because they were kind of neutral. And yeah, so I found that little tassel. I also got this little tassel. I believe these were like €1 or $2 each. But I got this one to hang on a cabinet, an antique cabinet that I have in my dining room. I just thought it would be really cute, like a little touch. I feel like Dali's home really inspired me, and just how much like personality he put into it. Obviously he's an artist, so he is very expressive, and I don't want to do like that much, but I think that he didn't hold back in like the little details, like the little cricket cage on the wall, just like so random, but he liked the sound of crickets, so he put a cricket cage on the wall. So things like that you guys saw, like that, his house was insane. So I also got up at his house. I swear, when you're on like vacation and you're in someone's home and you're in some, just like a new environment that's very beautiful, sometimes you get stuff that like you wouldn't normally get. So I got a picture of Dali. That's like kind of weird and quirky, but it's a postcard. It was really cheap, you know, so I always like getting postcards when I go to museums or homes like this, just kind of something to remind me of how like the experience that it was. So this definitely reminds me of how quirky he was, and maybe will be a good reminder to add more silliness and goofiness into my life as well. And then from the Prado, I know I didn't take you guys inside the Prado because I was just nervous about like taking photos. They had like a bunch of no photos here, but you can take photos here, and I was confused. So I just like I didn't do it. I didn't want to get yelled at in Spanish and like not know what they were saying. But I just chose some scenes that reminded me of the trip. Not some scenes, some art. But that looked very Spanish to me. It has little kids playing down here, which I thought was sweet. I like putting these in frames with like a big mat, and then also putting Mod Podge on the front of them, and it makes it look textural like a painting, and then people will think it might be a painting. Or I'm kind of thinking about just like making a mood board in my room for like upcoming projects and stuff. I got this one, which I just thought was really pretty. Nothing like crazy, you know, but it's just a pretty print. And then this one to remind me of this was like my favorite collection there. The Prado, I'll show you next week an art museum that I liked better. So like the paintings there were more like palatable, but this one was very striking because she, the queen is carrying her husband's casket around. Like she couldn't finish like grieving until she carried her husband's casket around to all of these different places for like much too long. Unfortunately, she like just couldn't let go of her husband. But I don't know, I thought it was kind of sweet that she just loved her husband so much. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to, you know, let him pass gracefully into the next life, but it just kind of was a good reminder to me of like the things that we saw there. So I love getting postcards. So that's all for my haul, and I have more treasures for next week because you will see the vintage flea market that we went to next week, and that's where my treasures really are. So So I hope that you all enjoyed this one. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe and come back for next week's vlog so you don't miss part 2. And if you want to check out last week's vlog, I shared all of the thrifted outfits that I brought with me on this trip. I shared like Pinterest pictures and then recreating those outfits using thrifted items. So if you want to go check that one out, I will leave that one linked down below. I hope you all have a very blessed week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.